Hey guys, welcome to Celia's Playlists. Today I'm here with Lila Wilde, who is a pop and new disco singer and songwriter and performer from New York. And I'm so excited to have you here, Lila. It's always fun to find a new New Yorker that I have not met yet, so I'm glad that we connected through Threads.
Yeah, small world. Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about you as an artist because everyone has the different kinds of things that they create, and I would love to hear a little bit more about your background.
Sure. So as you mentioned, I make new disco pop music. My tagline is Disco's hot younger sister. I like to make music that gets people dancing, like club style, kind of groovy 70s and 80s inspired music. And I love playing out, but I'm also a writer and top liner as well and producer. So yeah, those are the things I enjoy.
That's amazing. So let's dive into that first part. Who are a couple of your influences? Because with the big '70s, '80s, all of those things, the big dance music times where everyone went out to the club, I feel like that's kind of the vibe you're trying to bring back. So who are a couple of your influences?
Yeah. Oh, that's so hard. There's so many. I love Whitney Houston, obviously. She's a legend. Madonna is a big influence of mine. I love her, especially her older stuff. Um, Lionel Richie. Um, oh gosh, I could just name so many. Like
Well,
Diana
you have
Ross.
a really great list going so far.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll make a playlist called Lila's inspirations, and then we'll
Oh my
just
God, I
party
would
all
love that.
day.
I
That
could
would
have
be
a
a fun
full
one.
list. That would be a great list.
So, when you're creating your music, music for me is all about energy and the way that it makes people feel. You were talking a little bit about how you like to uplift people through your music. Where does that kind of come from? When you're trying to create.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I kind of started producing my music like shortly after the pandemic. I've always been writing, but much like any artist, my style has changed dramatically over the years. And I used to write like slow piano ballads, and when I was living in Latin America, I did like a Latin pop project. And then I think coming out of the pandemic, I just felt like I want, something more funky. I want something danceable, and I think the world is so heavy, so we should have something positive and uplifting. I started thinking a lot about like women's empowerment as well. A lot of my songs feature themes of that, and so I was like, what can I do that gets people dancing and also like empowers women in my music? And yeah, that's kind of how I started writing, going in that direction, and it's taken off from there. So yeah.
I love I love that you have those kind of themes in your music because that's like half of my brand. But
I love that about your brand.
thank you. I want to hear more about this Latin project. How long were you living abroad? That's really interesting and different.
Yeah, I lived in Medellin, Colombia for a little over a year. I was planning on staying for another year. But unfortunately, with the pandemic, they were closing the border and it was really far from my family. And I also have lived in Mexico for like 8 months. I'd love to go back to Mexico City as well. So I love Latin America. And I was really interested in like doing a Spanglish project. But afterwards, when the pandemic hit, it was Zoom recordings are really tough. And my collaborators were very far away. So I did put out one single. It's still on my Spotify. It's called Vete. But aside from that, most of my discography has gone in a different direction with a different production team.
That's very cool. And I love to hear about people's evolution as an artist. And, those types of themes still evolve with you. And I know that you're doing more of new disco these days. But, I feel like sometimes that trickles along into new projects. So that's really interesting. Um, I hear that you've been recording with some interesting people. I want to hear a little bit about your writing and recording process because obviously as someone that writes music, you have your own style of going about it, and I want to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah, my writing style's changed so much. When I first started writing, it was just me at a piano singing, and I learned how to produce in Logic. So I started kind of making my own beats, but it's evolved quite a bit since then. I now have a production team that I'm really grateful to work with, an incredible producer. His name's Brendan. and a co-producer, an occasional co-writer, Jacob Ott. I'm just so lucky. I really need to shout both them out, Brendan Keenan and Jacob Ott, because they're wonderful, and a mixing engineer. So I don't, it's not that I can't make music without them, but I don't want to as much. I love the team energy, and I'm such a collaborative person, that it's just been, I don't know, it's been like enlightening for me to know that there's like a community aspect to songwriting. So yeah, it's been a really exciting thing to explore working with the team.
That's awesome, and I feel like collaboration is a big thing in the music community, especially to like help people grow and help people also, I guess, get out of their comfort zones as an
Yeah.
artist to allow them to grow more. So I'm glad to hear that you have a team, and I'm glad to hear that you have a team that you like. That's a
Yes,
very important thing.
absolutely. And I wanted to say something on your point, which is I feel like a lot of people feel pressured to do it all by themselves. And I really like to stress to other artists that there's nothing wrong with playing to your strengths and sharing the load. I mean, there's so many things I wouldn't have thought about making if it wasn't for other people in the room, and like an idea just goes in a completely different direction than I would have expected. I think that's something so beautiful about making music, is that it literally starts as just this baby idea and then could branch into anything. So that's been like a really cool exploration for me while I'm writing, is just seeing where something can end up. And sometimes it's not even how I expected it. It can be way better.
I totally understand that from the video side, because sometimes I'll be doing like a music video and someone will be like, I have this idea, and I'm sitting there just like, I see the vision, I haven't done
Yeah,
it, but let's figure it out, because it
totally.
allows you to kind of, expand your horizons and figure out how to do more. So that's really
Yes.
awesome. And I'm glad that you said that, because I think that's going to be a valuable thing for someone to hear. Because sometimes you don't, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes you'll hear something a bunch of times and it'll be like not the right way, but sometimes
Yeah.
something will come to you at the right time and it finally clicks. So hopefully that clicks for someone.
Yeah. And I think like the way people write is all different. Sometimes you sit down and a song just spills out of you in 10 minutes and it's a great song. And then sometimes you have to bang your head against a wall for a month until you get like the right chord progression, or just finagle the melody a little bit, tweak the lyrics. And I think there's nothing wrong with it happening in different ways. Sometimes you got to exercise that creative muscle.
Definitely. So I want to pivot real quick, because I hear that there's
Please.
talks of you working on a music video, and I happen to be someone that does music videos. So I would
Oh my
love to
gosh.
hear, what is on the horizon, because as someone who loves all things music videos, I'm very excited.
I, it's been my dream to make a music video, honestly. But as an independent artist, like budgets are tight, so you have to be very selective. I'm sure you understand from the
Oh
independent
yeah.
artist perspective. But I'm so excited that I just shot my first music video, and I hope to do many more. I know you mentioned, and I mentioned that I'm putting out like singles, so I would
Hmm.
love to have like corresponding video footage for the songs. So we should chat later. But yeah, the song. But the song that I'm currently working on, it's called Blues Clues. It came out a couple months ago, and I think it's on one of your playlists. So thank you.
Yes.
And I just shot the music video for it. I'm really excited with videographer Steve is Dead. That's his tag name, and I'm really excited about it. I mean, like it's just a really cool process filming a music video. It's something totally different that I've never been exposed to, and like the filming process is so fun. I love that.
100%. Out of curiosity, is this like a storyline video? Is this like a playthrough video? Like, what kind of what kind of things did you learn? I guess in the video creation process.
Yeah, a lot of my songs have storylines behind them, and so I'm a big storyboard person. Um, well, it's not a live footage. There is a story, yes, but due to how quickly we had to shoot it, the idea changed pretty drastically from where I originally storyboarded it. But there is a story behind it, and I think the song, if I may, the song talks about like waiting for someone you're interested in to take notice and call you back, and so the story kind of follows some different characters waiting and being by the phone.
That's really cool. This was actually the song that I found you through, I believe, when we met on
Really
Threads. Yes, I believe it was
crazy.
that, and I do remember Blue's Clues, and you were actually one of the first people that I found on Threads. So, hi,
That's
nice to actually
crazy.
like meet you via
Hey,
internet. Um,
I
but
love
I
Threads.
want to like I love Threads too. I had to take a quick hiatus to do a project, but now I'm like making my way back on there. So, hopefully
Nice.
Threads welcomes me back.
The
But
community is waiting.
the community is waiting. I love to hear that. I want to talk a little bit about, I know you're dropping a single a month, and I know that that's kind of the strategy that a lot of people are using right now for the internet. Um, what made you come to that conclusion that you're going to try and, drop it in that way?
Yeah, I think it's two parts. The first is I'm not entirely sure that people have the attention span for an album from an artist that they haven't kind of grown to like yet. I mean, if you only have a few songs, it's hard to kind of latch on to an artist. You might like a tune from them, but you want to kind of be engaging with their content pretty consistently. But the other part is purely financial. I mean, it's very expensive to cut an album these days, whereas like I can keep making songs kind of semi consistently and always have something to promote and always have something to push. Also, Spotify, the way they do their playlisting now is like a little bit strange. You can only pitch a song at a time. So even if I did make an album, I can only pitch one song off the album. So I would eventually like to put out an album, but currently I'm just working on building up my body of work through singles.
I think that that's a good way to go about it, also for the promotion side, because that's the side that I am most familiar with artists, and I think that that's kind of where a lot of online promotion is moving towards these days, especially with
Yeah,
the visuals to go along with it. So I guess you're
absolutely.
you're doing some really cool stuff with Blues Clues, so you're gonna have to call me for something else.
I will. We should. That'd be great.
But not me trying to get a client on the thing.
On the
Whoops.
interview.
So on the
Always
interview,
working.
well, when it comes to the internet, you never know where everyone is. So like, the fact that you are probably an hour from me in the place that you are sitting right now is crazy. So,
That is. It's
the
a small world
it
for sure.
it's really a small world. And I'm really glad that we met on Threads. So
Me too.
let me think of what my next question is going to be as I get mentally sappy about like meeting people, great people, because this is like every interview I've done today has been great people.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
while you think about your next question, I just wanted to say that I've also met a lot of really great people on Threads, and I was just shocked that like there is this community of creatives that really wanted to connect with each other. I mean, in New York, there's so many, I'm sure you know, being an hour away, like there's so many people, there's so many artists, and it can be a very like, I don't want to say cliquey atmosphere, but just like you need to know people, but you're not always sure how you meet people. I've been lucky to meet a lot of people through jams and like going out to shows and things, but I mean, just seeing that online community of people that like want to chat about the music industry and about art, it's been like so refreshing and so nice to meet new people. So very grateful for
oh,
Threads as well, and to have met you.
I am gonna echo that also because like I'm someone that like I came up as a creator, like I work in the video industry, but I didn't have a group of people around me that were ready to take on like growing an online audience and things along those lines. And I accidentally fell into the music community on Long Island because I was doing a podcast. So like you never know how the internet is going to affect you, and who is going to see your stuff, which is why you need to keep creating, in my opinion.
Yeah, and pushing on all avenues because you never know which platform is going to be the one that works
Oh
for you.
yeah, 100%. So, uh, I guess backpedaling back to your career of things.
Yeah, please.
We went on a small tangent. If there was like a person that came up to you and said, "I want to get into creating music, and I don't know where to start," what would be your piece of advice for that person?
Hmm, that's tough. I guess like creating music, it's there's so many different like stages of it. Do you mean like the writing? They want to get into writing because I would direct them in an area. If it's like I want to get
Wherever
into the
you want
music
to go,
industry, I
however
would
you
say
want to take it.
okay. I would say if they already have written music, then I would suggest that they go to these like jams, that they go out where musicians are hanging out, Go see other people's shows. You have to support other people in this industry. It's not like everybody thinks that it's all about me. I want to be famous. It's so much of it is communal. And I always go support my friends when they're performing because I know that those are going to be people in the audience for me too. And it's just share the love type of thing. But I also would recommend that they go to places where they think that they're going to connect with their niche. Because also, aside from connecting with creators, which is so important, you need to find your fan base. And it might not be in that circle of creators. Also, it might be people that really love, I don't know, sports. You might make music that's just really good at sports games, or you might make music that's really good for like outdoor music festivals, and you should go hang out at those spaces because your music is going to resonate with those people. And so like I make new disco music, I kind of want to be in like the pop scene or like the nightclubs and things like that. So I would say go where you think your music resonates and try to connect with those people because those are going to be your future fans.
That is a very good point. I am really happy that we were able to hop on here today. We're getting towards the end of the interview, so where could people find you, and where are places that they can listen to your music?
Absolutely. I'm on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, you name it, YouTube, under Lila Wilde, LILAWILDE. I'm sure you'll see it on the interview. But also, I can be found on Instagram under Lila Wilde Music. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads. I'm a talker, so I'm always on Threads. And yeah, I will be posting these songs monthly, so you can always have something new to listen to. My most recent release is called Jezebel, dropped a couple weeks ago, and I'm really hoping people vibe with that. So I'm excited to be promoting that right now.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to check that one out because I'm still stuck on 401k and Blue's Clues. That's what ever burned in my brain. I've listened to 401k so many times that I know all of the words.
Oh my god, I love that. That's
such a good one.
Here. Thank you.
And no problem, no problem. I want to thank you for sitting down with me today and hopping on here and speaking with me and by proxy the people of the internet. And hopefully we can keep in touch because you're real cool.
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah, so love to see you in person sometime off the internet.
I don't exist off the internet. Don't tell anyone. I don't exist. But on that note, I will be back for the next interview, and thank you guys for tuning in. Bye, guys.